One, two, three.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops.
Yes, so many cops are on the tick. What do you expect when they use tear gas and tanks? Whether in a car or on a horse, cops don't mind using excessive force.
Bad cops, bad cops.
What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops.
What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops.
What you gonna do?
Bad cops, bad cops.
This is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
So this is a weird situation. Really, this was a situation when the good guy with a gun kills somebody by accident. If it wasn't a gun, it would have just been like two bums fighting in the street, but it ended up being a murder. So it's crazy to see this. This happened down the street from my house, pretty much. Retired cop slain at pizzeria, man fatally shot in the neck. So what this you have to look at the story, yo. So law enforcement say the 57-year-old man had attempted to pay peacemaker during a dispute that broke out inside the eatery. This easily this could have been this like one of those silly bum TikTok fights, whatever, but ended up being a murder. The police said the pepperoni begun between an 86-year-old man and a 30-year-old male individual for reasons that have yet to be determined.
Probably that doesn't even make any fucking sense. He's 86 years old. Let him have whatever it is. He's got one foot in the grave anyway. What the fuck are you rushing for, asshole? You're 33. Relax.
Exactly.
Holy
what is
fuck.
this, man? Yeah, this already sounds like a shit show. As the argument escalated, cops said a retired cop and a 53-year-old man, a retired corrections officer, intervened in an effort to stop it. This shows you law enforcement training going to good use. So that led to a physical struggle between the 30-year-old man, the retired cop, and the retired corrections officer, which spilled out of the pizzeria, headed down the block in Church Avenue. It was like one of those fights that kept.
Oh God!
Yeah,
and you know I used to live near Church Avenue too.
Yeah, yeah. So during the physical exchange, the retired corrections officer pulled out a weapon and fired one shot, which went up, striking both the retired cop and the 30-year-old man.
Wait, what? No, run that back?
It's such a mess. So pretty much what happened was...
a retired corrections officer.
Yeah. Shot a retired cop. Shot the retired cop. So the guy, the 53-year-old guy...
There's too many retired people in the story. There's too much action for retired folks, son. That shit was legitimately confusing just now.
Exactly.
Like,
so it all started because the 86-year-old man was getting an argument with a 32-year-old man, and then the 53-year-old man, retired corrections officer, and another retired cop shows up. The retired corrections officer shoots the retired cop and the 33-year-old man.
I'm sorry, man. I don't even give a fuck what the 86-year-old said. I don't even care if he's in the wrong. I'm still blaming the 33-year-old. Dude, let him have whatever the fuck it is. It's almost over. I promise you, it's almost over for him.
So pretty much upon arrival, the retired officer was shot in the chest, and the 33-year-old man, the actual guy who started the argument, was struck in the right arm. The retired officer was pronounced dead. No
good deed goes unpunished.
So pretty much, what was insane, like somehow someone who had nothing to do with the fight is dead. Pretty much, that's what happened when the good guy in the gun intervenes. Someone had nothing to do with the fight is dead. That's
super unfortunate, man.
Yeah. So this is crazy. So this kind of stories really scares people in New York City.
Why would you pull a gun in that situation during a melee? If somebody else pulled a gun, then I can see you pulling your.
But it's a retired cop. They're stupid. I don't know. It's like,
he probably didn't know that the guy was a retired cop when he shot.
I'm talking about the retired cop who put out the gun. The retired corrections officer, he put out the gun.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, he didn't know who he was pulling the gun out on. You get what I mean? Like,
but there was no guns before. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Why would you pull out a weapon during a melee? Like, I get that you want to play hero and all of that, but You don't even know who is involved in all of this. And then when you discharge your weapon, you can't undischarge it. That's why you got to be super, super careful about thinking about pulling your weapon, cocking it, and then pointing it down range. You have to be 100% sure that the move that you're about to make is the right move to make. And when I look at it from sitting here, it's like, I can't even figure out, well, he might have want to pull this weapon for this, or he might have wanted to pull this weapon for that.
He ended up shooting the guy who had nothing to do with it. He killed the guy who had nothing to do with it. Yeah. So that's just, I don't know. You watch too much action movies. I
definitely want to find out what happens to the retired corrections officer, because he's got to feel like ultra mega shit. He has to feel like super duper dookie.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah.
And let this be a lesson to all people who want to play hero. Actually learn who the fucking characters are in the story before you go trying to play hero.
Yeah, before you shoot retired cop. And it all started because an 86-year-old man and a 33-year-old man were arguing over...
I'm blaming the 33-year-old.
Over pizza, whatever they're arguing over. Silly shit.
None of y'all should be eating that fucking garbage anyway.
So
I know I shouldn't have said that, but that's how I feel.
So this kind of stories scare people. Though crime is going up. We're going back to Hunt Down somewhere in the city. We're going back to the 70s. The son of Sam is back out in the streets. It's like it's gonna be a blackout this summer. People looting and robbing.
I am pretty sure that there is somebody out there, a male, whose father's name is Sam.
It's gonna be satanic cults, sacrificing lambs in the park. It's gonna be crazy shit this year. This is what the media tries to make it feel like. When you hear this kind of
stories. I'm not going outside.
Yeah, it makes it feel like, why are shootings and murders on the rise in New York City? And we're born and raised New Yorkers. So
because all the people that was going to get murdered in 2020, they had to wait to die until 2021.
Exactly. They had to wait in their homes. Now you got to go out and get shot. So so pretty much these New York's experiencing the worst crime violence it's seen in nearly a decade. We're gonna bring out the facts for this. So in 2021 alone, 299 people have been shot, a 54 increase over the last time, since the most has seen since 2012. And who was the mayor in 2012?
2012, was that Bloomberg?
I believe so. So New York is not unique. Murders across the United States rose estimate 25% in 2020 because people were mentally ill and poor. So what do you think is going to happen? And there's a lot of guns in this country. So I want to pull up. So the NYPD is all using this as leverage in the mayor's elections. It's affecting the mayor's election. They want to defund the police, want to give the police more stuff, even though police have stuff that doesn't fucking work anyway. I want to pull up this one thing before we pull up the stats. Pretty much everyone knows about Chicago. Everyone brings up Chicago when it comes to anything. You could talk about, hey, I'm black. I don't want to be shot anymore. What about Chicago? What about, hey, I'm black. Can I eat healthy food? What about Chicago? It's somehow Chicago gets brought up no matter what you talk about if you're black.
Hey, black, can I be a guy? I'm black. Can I be gainfully employed? What about Chicago?
What about Chicago? So Chicago implemented a ShotSpotter, which actually was used in Camden a few years ago. And the ShotSpotter actually hasn't done shit because it's not the idea of giving the cops more weapons and more technology. That's not going to stop crime. People keep thinking it does, but I want to play this video real quick about Chicago.
Some groups are raising concerns over the city's ShotSpotter technology.
And tonight, reaction to a new study questioning that system's effectiveness. WGN's Patrick Elwood live at Chicago Police Headquarters with more. Hi, Patrick.
Micah and Ray, good evening to you. Critics of the ShotSpotter technology say that its usefulness is exaggerated. But those who defend the system, of course, including the CPD, say that those critics are using information data that's only favorable to their point of view.
What?
I mean, people do that kind of shit all the time.
It was ShotSpotter technology.
We're talking about murdering people.
We went to the area of 24th and Sawyer, which led to CPD officer Eric Stillman chasing Adam Toledo and fatally shooting him a split second after it appears the 13-year-old drops or tosses a gun. CPD credits the ShotSpotter system
isn't that what
in
you
helping
want
to
him to do
identify
in
gunshot
that situation,
locations
if he has a
faster
gun?
than receiving 911 calls.
That's so weird.
Over
They
100 police departments
they forget
use
he got
the
murdered.
California company-based technology that relies upon a network of publicly placed microphones and cameras to pinpoint gunshot locations.
No, they just
Today,
record
the
people's
MacArthur
conversation.
Justice
Pretty
Center at
much.
Northwestern University's Law School says after a 22-month study of CPD data, it has found that ShotSpotter system mostly unreliable and sends officers too often unnecessarily into predominantly black and brown neighborhoods. It is now asking a Cook County judge to examine ShotSpotter's effectiveness. CPD says it has ShotSpotter in 12 of the city's 22 police districts, and it follows the data into whatever neighborhood that it leads. Today, Mayor Lightfoot says ShotSpotter plays an important part of an overall crime detection system.
I'm not confident
I
that
feel
those
like I'm
numbers
going
are actually
insane watching
accurate,
this.
but here's what I do know. ShotSpotter technology,
anybody like
when
that woman?
coupled
Nope.
with the camera technology that we have in the SDSC rooms, no question whatsoever is a lifesaver. Number one,
I feel like
it allows us in real
I
time.
feel like I'm in the
to
world of
understand
make-believe. Like,
what's
don't we get
happened in
reports
any
about
given
Chicago
location
shootings every
and
week?
dispatch,
How
people
is
to help.
ShotSpotter even
Number
stopping
two,
any of that?
in an environment where people are fearful,
What is happening here?
sometimes
Like,
like calling 911 for a variety of reasons, ShotSpotter allows us to understand that there are those challenges exist that are out there. So where the calls for service don't come, we still are able to respond.
So the mayor went on to add that the homicide clearance rate from CPD over the last year of 60% is due in part because of the ShotSpotter technology, and don't expect it to go away.
so you guys are
soon,
using
in
information
her
for
opinion.
your side
Reporting from the CPD headquarters
whenever
tonight,
you
35th
feel
in
like it,
Michigan,
because every
Patrick Elliott,
day,
WGN
every
News.
weekend,
Ray, Mike,
the
back to you.
CBD is always like, oh, there's more shootings in Chicago. There's more shootings in Chicago. Now we watch a report. All of a sudden, there's less shootings in Chicago. Am I going nuts? It's like, so like, oh my God.
It's frustrating it's just frustrating. And again, this being what it is,
Yeah.
I gotta turn back to what really is the driver for a lot of adverse adverse situations that happen. And I always take it back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If people don't have their most basic low-level needs fulfilled, higher-level functions, it's just, you can't expect it. So if you have people living in abject poverty and, they live in a city where, you can walk 6 blocks that way and now you're with the rich people and you got to see all of these people enjoying all this stuff and you don't have shit.
And they're taking
And the
shit
only
away.
thing that
That's
you
the thing. They
have
don't have
is your
shit and they're
street
taking
cred.
shit away.
And the only thing you have is your street cred. I don't know, man.
So I want to go back to New York using the technology, the shot shitter, whatever it's called.
I think it says shot shitter.
Shot shitter. So we have the data here. We're gonna use their data for their. They're talking about we use our data for whatever our now. We're gonna use their data, and I want to show you we're born and raised New Yorkers, and the stats are pretty crazy because everyone's talking about how this is the most violent time in New York City history, whatever crazy shit we were saying, but in reality, dead ass, it's not. Me and Dr. Virginia, we were in like group homes. We were walking around the streets a lot in the night time. So I want to give you perspective, pretty much. Just pull this up. So this chart right here. This is the serious crime chart. We're gonna try the serious chart because that's what scares people the most is the murders and the rapes, whatever. So we're gonna start with that. So this chart is pretty much murder, rape, robbery, felony assault, burglary, grand larceny, all the scary stuff, stealing your car, grand theft auto. So you can see these stats in 2020. They are pretty crazy compared to we're not going to deny they are pretty crazy in the past few years. But to say that this is the worst time in New York City history is lying to people. You're straight up lying to people. You're lying, scaring people. So we're going to show you that. So right now, 2020 already said that we put the last report. 2021 already has 299 murders already. That's already pretty high. But in 2020 it was 468, 2019, 319. But we want to go back further to when we were pretty much. I was homeless, sleeping on the subway.
Yeah, 2003, 2002, 2003.
So pretty much the stats are like almost hitting like 700, 500. Everything blows up. Everything blows up in early 2000s. So this is when like, Bloomberg was mayor or like whatever. This is when like, stop and frisk was happening.
No, that would be Giuliani, right?
Yeah.
Because Giuliani was around for 9/11, right?
Yeah. So tough on crime was the complete opposite. They were like, all the crimes happen, So don't let these fucking Republicans, Rudy Giuliani, fool you about being tough on crime. And crime was fucking just even higher than it was mayor than now. They was trying to manipulate shit like this. And pretty much when I was roaming the streets, I was pretty much more susceptible to these crimes back then than now. So this is wild to me that they try to put this perspective that like we're gonna go on back to like this horrible time where people are gonna be like sacrificing each other in the streets. But in reality, we're just going back, like the Goffness says, pretty much back to like early 2012 kind of numbers. We're not flying back to the 90s. We're not flying back to the 80s. You can look at this chart yourself. You can see the numbers. I mean, look at grand larceny. Look at car theft. Car theft is like 9,000 compared to like fucking 29,000 in the early 2000s.
But I mean, people are gonna try to make it seem any way they want to make it seem to push a narrative. But I do know that the offenses are definitely going to go up if you hire that Adams guy as your mayor, because there's going to be mad people who they're going to be planting evidence on, and they're going to really be beefing up the numbers to try to make you believe that there's more crime happening than there actually is.
So now we're going to go down the line to less serious crimes. This is like kind of like the worst of the worst, murdering people, stealing someone's car, what kind of shit. So we're going to go to the next kind of round of crime stats. And this is NYPD. We're not manipulating stats. We're not on our own agenda. We're using the NYPD stats to show you. We're going to pull this next thing, which is less violent crimes. So these are
like identity theft.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to show you that right now. So pretty much like someone stealing your debit card, using it at the ATM machine, pretty much, or burning down your house.
Felony possession of stolen property.
Yeah. So right now in 2020, during the pandemic, those numbers actually were pretty outrageous because like we go to petty crimes, you go down to the petty crimes like felonies, those kind of things. They were high because people were poor and desperate. But at the same time, the 2018 when it came to like dangerous drugs, those kind of things, drugs, people using drugs. It's a good thing those numbers are down because why are we locking up people using drugs?
It does confuse me a bit how some of those numbers could be so high, but there's nobody outside. Like who
2020
doing these crimes to? Yeah, 2020. Like there's nobody outside. Like nobody should be outside. It doesn't make sense. Every time I hear somebody got shot, it's like, what?
So these are, I'll show you, these are non-felon crimes, major crimes. And then we're going to go down even further to even the more petty stuff. So that's the thing. They like to focus on this, like, murders and like the most horrible stuff. Of course that's scary. Hearing about murders is awful. I want to hear about people getting murdered all the time. So we're going to go to the next thing, which is just like harassment and like, and this vague ass shit NYPD disorderly conduct, which violations is kind of like marijuana possession, disorderly conduct. This can mean anything. This can mean shouting outside, talking to your neighbor really loudly. So that's what that could mean. I don't know. And then trespass.
How many of those harassments were against police officers who's stopping people for no fucking reason?
I definitely believe that. So you see these numbers here. compared to like the early 2000s, even like before 2010, harassment is up compared to like the year before. So why wasn't it like a tough on crime in 2018? Why wasn't like people talking about crime exploded in 2016? Why weren't people scaring people then? But now, because of the mayor election, because, you know, whatever cultural war is happening, people are just like finding whatever crazy crime they want to talk about and blow that up and make it seem like New York City is going back to being Fear City. They used to call New York City Fear City in the 1970s. It used to be welcome to Fear City. Yeah, so we just want to show you these stats. You guys, we're going to share it in the link so you guys can do your own research instead of being scared by CNN and NBC. Look at these stats and make your own judgment about what's going on in New York City. Not just be scared about the local news, scaring you because of Black people and Latino people being poor and desperate, you know. So we're going to end this here with bad cops because I guess people need to go out there and do this research. This is Black Power Magic Hour on Twitter, Facebook at the moment, Twitch, and then Dr. Virginius, he's live on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, talking shit. And that's old bad cops, old retired cops. I know.